Matt Lee is an Associated Press foreign policy correspondent or State Department journalist, and he really questioned this guy, Ned Price, the State Department spokesperson, very aggressively over this new claim that's emerged that we now know Russia's planning a false flag attack to invade Ukraine, and, you know, therefore it's like basically whatever the U.S. wants to do in response is justified because we didn't start it, we didn't do anything, we didn't do anything wrong here, and so if we want to deploy troops to the border, tens of thousands of them, if we want to have the tanks ready to go, if we want to do sanctions not just of the oligarchs but even Russian civilians, hey, don't question us. We're telling you, we know we have the smoking gun evidence that they're going to do a false flag attack, and we need to be prepared for that. So this journalist has been around the block, and he's going to do a very simple thing. He's going to ask for evidence. And look at how comical this back and forth is.
We told you a few weeks ago that we have information indicating Russia also has already prepositioned a group of operatives to conduct a false flag operation in eastern Ukraine. So that, Matt, to your question, is an action that Russia has already taken.
It's an action that you say that they have taken, but you have shown no evidence to confirm that. And I'm going to get to the next question here, which is, what is the evidence that they... I mean, this is like crisis actors, really? This is like Alex Jones territory you're getting into now. What evidence do you have to support the idea that there is some propaganda film in the making?
Matt, this is derived from information known to the U.S. government, intelligence information that we have declassified. I think you know...
Okay, well, where is it? Where is this information?
It is intelligence information that we have declassified.
Well, where is it? Where's the declassified information?
I just delivered it.
No, you made a series of allegations and statements.
Would you like us to print out the topper? Because you will see a transcript of this briefing that you can print out for yourself.
That's not evidence, Ned. That's you saying it. That's not evidence. I'm sorry.
What would you like, Matt?
I would like to see some proof that you can show that
Matt, you have been
shows that the Russians are doing this. Ned, I've been doing this for a long time.
I know, that was my point. You have been doing this for quite a while. You know that when we declassify intelligence information,
right.
we do so in a means. We do so with an eye to protecting sources and methods.
Is not going to fall. I remember a lot of things. So where is the declassified information other than you coming out here and saying?
Matt, I'm sorry you don't like the format, but we have declassified.
It's not the format; it's the content.
I'm sorry you don't like the content. I'm sorry you are doubting the information that is in the possession of the U.S. government.
No,
what I'm telling you is that this is information that's available to us. We are making it available to you in order for a couple reasons. One is to attempt to deter the Russians from going ahead with this activity. Two, in the event we're not able to do that, in the event the Russians do go ahead with this, to make it clear as day, to lay bare the fact that this has always been an attempt on the part of the Russian Federation to fabricate a pretext.
Yeah, but you don't have any evidence to back it up other than what you're saying. It's like you're saying, we think we have information the Russians may do this, but you won't tell us what the information is. And then when you're asked...
That is the idea behind deterrence, Matt. That is the idea behind deterrence. It is our hope that the Russians don't go forward with this.
You say, I just gave it to you. But that's not what...
You seem not to understand... You seem not to understand the idea of deterrence. We are trying to deter the Russians from moving forward with this type of activity. That is why we're making it public today. If the Russians don't go forward with this, that is not... ipso facto an indication that they never had plans to do so.
But then it's unprovable. I mean, my God. What is the evidence that you have that suggests that the Russians are even planning this?
Matt,
I'm not saying that they're not, but you just come out and say this and expect us just to believe it without you showing a shred of evidence that it's actually true. Other than when I ask, or when anyone else asked, what's the information? You said, well, I just gave it to you, which was just you making a statement.
Matt, you said yourself, you've been in this business for quite a long time. You know that when we make information, intelligence information public, we do so in a way that protects sensitive sources and methods. You also know that we declassify information only when we're confident in that information. If you doubt the credibility of the U.S. government, of the British government, of other governments, and want to find solace in information that the Russians are putting out, that is for you to do.
So in other words, you are a Russian propagandist or a Russian stooge or a dupe or a foreign asset because you're trusting them over us, when all he's doing is saying, I'm agnostic, I just want to see your evidence. If you're going to make a claim, the burden is on you to provide the evidence. That's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work. But usually, the rest of the media, when their State Department sources or their CIA sources tell them something, they're stenographers. They take it at face value because they're suckers who are put in these positions specifically for that reason. I'm surprised this AP guy hasn't been fired already, because there's a number of times he's held this slimy weasel, Ned Price, accountable. And he's so bad at the job. He's so terrible at this. He's like, we know that the Russians are now doing this. What's your evidence? I just told you that we know that they're going to be doing this. That's not evidence. That's not evidence. Now, understand something. Just like Ned says, I'll say the same thing. I don't know. Is it possible that they're going to do that? Sure. But this is not an agency that has a track record of truth-telling. In fact, quite the opposite. They have a long record of lying about everything. These are the same people that got us into the Iraq War. Now, I'm sure some people involved in this stuff behind the scenes maybe really believed the bullshit, really believed the line of argument, and so they were acting in good faith even though they were wrong. But there's also people who might not be acting in good faith, who are lying and know that they're lying. But at the end of the day, all that matters is whether or not what they're saying is true and what that means we should do about it. Now, look, I'm on record. Are there certain things that are on the table in a negotiation with Russia that are more like hardline approaches? Absolutely. Absolutely. So, for one thing, the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Should the U.S. use that as leverage? Sure. Absolutely. In other words, look, if we find some sort of peace agreement and a way out of this, then you can have the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. If you don't, we're going to undercut it, not let you have it, and the U.S. will sell our natural gas to Germany, and we'll sell at the same price as you guys, even if it's at a loss. That's one thing that you could put on the table. Another thing is, like it or not, these nations are sovereign nations that were the post-Soviet states. So having them armed so they could defend themselves, yeah, that's absolutely on the table. That makes perfect sense. They're sovereign nations. They get to do that if they want to do that. Now, these are things that, all these things Russia views as red lines that you can't do. No. Don't agree. And that's the whole point of a negotiation. Now, are there other parts of the deal that would be concessions to Russia? Well, yes, because again, that's part of a negotiation as well. And so I want peace. I want to avoid World War III. So does that mean we're not going to do war games on Russia's border anymore with NATO? Yes. Does that mean we're not going to have missiles pointed directly at Russia in an ally state of ours? Yes. Does that mean that, NATO should not move an inch closer to Russia's border? Absolutely. Oh, those things are true, but it's also true that other things are on the table. But what the U.S. government is trying to do is lay the groundwork and set the preconditions to allow us to do anything and play the victim and play like we're acting defensive every step of the way. But if this is the same organization that lied us into the Iraq War, the State Department, the CIA, if these are the same outlets that lied about Russiagate relentlessly for years straight, and they are, well, then you shouldn't take their word for it. They need to actually show evidence if they have such evidence. They're not showing the evidence, which means they don't have such evidence. Again, that's not to say it's impossible that Russia would do this, but you need to prove it. You need to show it. You absolutely need to show it. And so this is a rare instance of a journalist doing their job right, doing their job effectively, and really unmasking the little weasel State Department spokesperson here. So there you have it. I really hope that the negotiation works and we can find a way to back out of this feud, because in the nuclear age with two nuclear-armed states, you don't even want to be this close to some sort of fight. You don't. It's for the future of humanity. It's a necessity that you find a way out of this situation. And you need to use all the negotiation skills, all the diplomacy in the world, and you need to be fair-minded and reasonable. And unfortunately, I do not trust the U.S. at all to do that. I don't really trust Russia either, but I also know that our government has lied relentlessly about this stuff, and finally, somebody's holding them accountable. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.